Okay, this is going to be a lesson on evaluating. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use Desmos because you'll have access to Desmos when you take this assessment. So I'm going to show you how to do evaluation on Desmos. It's actually pretty easy. Here's what this basically means. What this basically means is where every spot that there's X, I'm going to put a -4 and I'm going to use parentheses. So what this looks like, I replace the X with the -4, okay? -7, and then here I'm going to replace the Y with the 6, okay? So all I'm doing is replacing those. So very simply in Desmos, and you really don't make it that hard, 10 parentheses, -4 parentheses. Here is the button for squared, okay? -7 parentheses, 6 parentheses. And that answer of 118 is your answer. Okay, all right. So all you got to do in essence is just match up the letters, okay, with what you have. So here, I would take this and that goes there. I take this and that goes there. I got -3. I'm going to put this into here. Okay, so I'm just going to type it in, everything just like I see it. All right, so I got 18 parentheses, 2, -4 parentheses, -5, close them, -3 parentheses, -4, close them. Squared is this little 2 button there, and I get an answer of 8. Okay, all right, that's how simple these are. Okay, all right, so what I'd like you to do, go into Go Formative, pause your video, and complete these 2 questions. Okay, so this goes here, -18, and that goes there. Okay, so 25 parentheses, -3 squared, okay, -18 parentheses, -9. If you just replace that part with the parentheses, that is going to be easy. 387, okay? All right. All right, so this, I'm just gonna go ahead and save some time. 30, replace the A with 6, close it. -4, where the B squared is, I'm gonna put -7 squared, okay? +14, parentheses, 10. Okay, and it gives me 124 warnings. Okay, all right. Now let's talk about some square roots and cube roots and how those go into the calculator. Okay, all right. So what you want to do for functions, okay, what you want to do for functions is if you have what they call this is a cube root. Okay, when they put that little number right there, this is a square root. Okay, so if they put that little number there, here's all you have to do. Okay, all right, here's all you have to do. All right, I want to go to miscellaneous. Okay, select this, and I want to type that number 3 up there. Inside here, I'm putting the X with parentheses, which would be 64. Okay, I click outside of that. Minus the square root. Now what's convenient about the square root button, that's right here. Square root, in this case would be 121. Okay, and I get an answer of -7. Okay, now you got to be careful. Okay, that 9 is not a root. That 9 is in front of the square root. Okay, so here's what this looks like. All right, I go into functions, miscellaneous, this. Oops, I got to clear that out, sorry. Functions. Miscellaneous, this, I type 3, and then I'm going to type inside there, I'm going to type parentheses 27, and I'm going to tap outside of there, so I go +9, all right, square root, and they want me to have 25 there, okay, and that just gives me 48. You might have to click around a little bit to get that, but that's what you do, okay. All right, more parentheses stuff. This is similar to what we were just doing, it's just a little bit more, all right, involved. So 18, I got 18 for A, so I'll put parentheses where that is, -5, a parentheses. For B squared, I put a parentheses -4, okay, squared, okay, -3, okay, parentheses, 2, okay, and close it. So you have to include the parentheses that you have originally in the problem, but also for every spot that it has an answer. So that answer there would be 274. Okay? All right, let's do that over here for this one. Okay? So what I would do is I would do 3x, all right, so that's going to be negative 7. I'm going to close that. Minus 2, parentheses, that was given my problem. Negative, okay, then parentheses where y is negative 3 squared, plus 5, parentheses, my z is 8, close it, and then actually type the actual parentheses I have. So you got to be careful of that. Every spot, like I said, every spot where you see a letter is what a parenthesis will go. Okay, so that's basically what happens, and that's why I just do negative 7, that's why I do negative 3, and that's why I do 8. And that's how you type it in. Don't overcomplicate that. So that answer is negative 83. Okay, all right. So why don't you take, go ahead and pause this video, go into Go Formative, and go ahead and work these 3 questions. Okay, go ahead and work those 3 questions. All right. All right, so let's do these. Okay, so I got a cube root. So I go there, functions. I select this thing for cube root, so 3. All right, inside where x is, I put an 8. Then I click over here, plus the square root of whatever I have for y, which is 81. Okay, and that will give me an answer of 11. Okay, I got a cube root now with a minus with a 12 in front of the square root. Okay, so I go functions, miscellaneous, cube root, 3. Inside I put parentheses, 216. Okay, over here, got minus 12. Okay, square root. Okay, inside I'm going to put 9. Oops, I forgot to type my number. 9. And that gives me negative 30 as my answer. Okay, so this one, if you need to write it out sometimes it might be easier just to write out what you're replacing. So this is what this would look like. Okay, all right, and then 9's going in there, negative 4's going in there, and 5's going in there. Sometimes writing it out depends. Do you have to write it out? No. But if it helps you get the problem right and you have trouble and you're getting mistakes, that's what you should do. So 12, parentheses, 9. Okay, minus 3, parentheses, the negative, then parentheses again, negative 4, close them, squared. Okay, plus 6, parentheses, 5, and then an extra set. The answer is 66. Okay, all right. Now, going on to these next ones. We're going to finish here with square roots, with absolute value, okay? Absolute value and fractions, okay? Absolute value and fractions, all right? Let's talk about absolute value, okay? Let's talk about absolute value. This is actually real easy, okay? All right, so the same concept is I'm going to do absolute value, parentheses, plus 2, parentheses, minus 3, parentheses, absolute value. So just got to watch where the letters are. This is A, so 2. This is B, 7, A2, B7, okay? So once again, if you have to write it out, do that, all right? Now, here's where absolute value is. If you see these little bars right here, okay, that's absolute value. So absolute value, parentheses, 2, plus, parentheses, 7, okay? And then I want to close my absolute value bar, okay? So you have to start it and stop it. So plus, absolute value, 2, parentheses, 2, close the parentheses, minus 3, parentheses, 7, whoops, parentheses, 7, close parentheses, close my absolute value bar. And that answer is 26. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Okay? Let's do another absolute value problem. Okay? All right, so I start the absolute value. Absolute value. Okay? I got A, so I'm going to do parentheses. My A is negative 8 minus my B, which is 6. close the parentheses, close absolute value. Plus 0.5, then absolute value bars again, okay? 2, parentheses, -8 for A, plus 4, parentheses, 6 for B, close my absolute value, and I get 18. Okay, all right, that's how you do those, okay? Now, the fraction ones, okay, what you're gonna wanna do, and this is where, all right, you have to sort of prompt yourself with the fractions. You wanna put parentheses, an extra set around the numerator, and parentheses around the denominator. What this bar means, this bar is the same as division. So, the way this would go in, okay, all right, I would start parentheses, okay? Now, I'm gonna replace that x squared with a parentheses. So parentheses 10, close them, squared, okay? Minus 5, minus 5, parentheses, my y is 2. I would close it around the 2, and then I have that extra set. Okay, so that's what I got there. I replaced the x, I replaced the y. Okay, now once I have that, I'm going to hit division. As you can see how it makes that bottom part. So parentheses 8, parentheses, 8, parentheses, whatever I have for x, which is 10, minus 4, and I close it. Okay, now, all right, you get a decimal here. A little thing that you're going to see with Desmos, if you hit this little thing right here, this turns that into a fraction. So 45 over 38, okay? Or you got, if you hit that back, it turns into, like, let's do 1.18, okay? Either answer is acceptable, okay? So that's what you have to do with those, okay? So I got parentheses, 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 okay? So that's what I'm going to have to do. Okay, that's what I'm going to have to do with that, all right? So I would do parentheses, 2, all right, I'm replacing the letter, so x is 15, so close around that, plus 6. I'm going to close around 18 for y, and I got this extra set. So I have the set at the beginning, set at the end, I'm good, okay? Now, this is absolute value, okay? This is absolute value, so division, okay? I got to put parentheses and absolute value bars, 5 minus 2, okay? Parentheses, what y is, 18, okay? Absolute value bars, okay? All right, close my parentheses, all right? I get 4.45, I can use that, or, okay, or I can hit that little fraction button, and it turns into 138 over 31, all right? Either answer is acceptable, okay? So what I'd like you guys to do, I think this is, no, it's not it yet. Okay, I'd like you to pause your video and go ahead and work on these, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and go through this first one, okay? I got absolute value, okay? Parentheses where A is, which is 5, minus parentheses where B is, which is 9, and I'm gonna close my absolute value, okay? Minus 8, oh, whoops, I'm sorry, minus absolute value bars, 8, parentheses where A is, which is 5, okay, plus 2, parentheses where B is, that's 9, and then I'm going to close my absolute value bars, okay, all right, that is going to be negative 54, okay, all right, let's go ahead and do this one, okay, I would do absolute value bars, 6, parentheses where A is, which is 10, okay, plus 4, parentheses where there's B, that's 12. Close the absolute value bars. Plus 0.4, whoops. Plus 0.4, okay. Absolute value bars. Parentheses where there's an A, okay. So that'd be 10. Close it. Minus 2, parentheses where there's a B, that's going to be 12. Okay, absolute value bars to finish, 113.6. You could give the fraction one if you want, okay? So here we got these ones, this is what I got to know, parenthesis, 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 okay? All right. All right, so I got parentheses, 3, parentheses, -4 for x with a squared, plus 2, parentheses where the y is, which is 8, okay? Extra set, divided by. Okay, that's how you get the fraction, okay? All right, parentheses, 2, parentheses, -4, okay? -5, and close it, okay? You get this crazy decimal of -4.92. I would accept that as an answer. Or you get this fraction button, -64/13. Either answer is acceptable, okay? All right, let's go on to this next question, okay? All right, I gotta put parentheses here, parentheses here, parentheses here, parentheses here, okay? All right, so I got parentheses, absolute value, parentheses where x is, which is, what we got here, 2. All right, 2 for x, whoops. Delete that. All right, plus parentheses where it's y, which is -80. Okay, close that, close the absolute value bars, close the parentheses. Okay, all right. All right, divided by. Okay, divided by. All right, parentheses, 4, minus parentheses where there's an x, which would be 2, and close it, which is just an easy answer of 39. All right, okay, if you get a mistake, just check your parentheses. All right, going on to the last two things. How to apply these with word problems, okay? It says profit, selling fruit. The profit's equal to 5a plus 2b plus 4c minus e. If they sold 20 apples, 14 bananas, 18 clementines, and those are the letters, and they had expenses of 121e, calculate the profit. Well, very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5, parentheses, how many apples? 20, plus 2, how many bananas? 14, plus 4, how many clementines? 18, minus e, what's my e? 121. So all I got to do is put that into the calculator and let the calculator do its work. Okay? All right? So I got 5, parentheses 20, okay, plus 2, parentheses 14, plus 4, parentheses 18, minus parentheses 121. And I get an answer there of 79. That would be the profit. Okay? Let's do one more. It says grades are determined by grade equals 0.8s plus 0.2f. If you have an average of 90 for summatives, which is the S, and an 85 average for formatives, calculate your grade. So very simply, I do 0.8, I put 90 in there, plus 0.2, put 85 in there. Okay, that's all you have to do. All right, use your Desmos, all right, to calculate it. Okay, use your Desmos to calculate it. All right, so 0.8, 90, plus, okay, 0.2, parentheses 85. Your grade's an 89. Okay? So what I'd like you guys to do, finish this up, go ahead and do these two problems in Go Formative, and when you're done, all right, just put your answers in there, okay? All right, it says profit, all right, is equal to 4a plus 1b plus 3c minus e, okay? So what that would be is 4 times 50 plus 1 times 42 plus 3 times 7 minus parentheses 108. Okay, very simple calculation. Let your calculator do the work. Okay, so that would be 4 and 50 plus 1 and 42 plus 3 and 7 minus parentheses 108. And that answer would be $155. 155. Move this down just a little bit. Okay. All right. Now the grade is determined by this formula. Okay. All right. So what I would do is I'd do 0.9, my summative grades of 80, plus 0.1, summative grades are 90. Okay. And then just very simply, okay, 0.9, parentheses 80, plus 0.1, parentheses 90. Okay, whoops. 81 would be my rate. Okay, all right. And that is all we have for evaluation.